Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of A Literary Odyssey. Today I decided to do a readathon where I'll read for 24 hours straight. Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to be able to accomplish this because I have a baby and that is exhausting, but I'm going to try to go a full 24 hours just reading. I think the only time I will take a break is to feed my son and to feed myself. I decided for this readathon, though, that I would go through my collection of books and actually read the ones that I've either read and haven't completed or the ones that I bought and never started. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the bookstore, I can't just buy one book. I have to buy two, three, maybe sometimes five. And within a week, I get the itch to go right back to the bookstore and buy more books. And so I built up quite a collection of books that I have not completed or have never started. So without further ado, I'll give you guys my TBR and I will start this readathon. For my first book that I will be reading, it would be The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I've actually, if you can see, I've read 3/4 of this book already. And so I'm just going to complete it. My next book is going to be James Patterson's Jack and Jill. I am a massive fan of James Patterson. My three favorite authors of all time will always be James Patterson, Stephen King, and Dan Brown. I have a serious love for Dan Brown that I do not have enough time in the world to explain how much I love that man. My next book is going to be The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I've actually read his newest one, The Girl in the Spiderweb. I believe that's what it is, The Girl in the Spiderweb. And I really did like that book, but I came to realize that I read the book the series out of sequence, and I literally didn't feel like I missed anything. So I guess this is kind of a series. It's kind of shiny. I guess this is kind of a series that you can read out of order and not feel like you missed anything other than like Harry Potter, where if you read it completely out of order, you're lost. Okay? And my final book, if I can read all of these, is The Nest. I actually came upon this book when I was subscribed to the Book of the Month Club. But if you guys watched my first video, I have a goal of reading every book on the fiction list of the New York Times bestsellers since the list began in 1930. And so when I was subscribed to the Book of the Month, I felt like I couldn't handle the reading load of trying to read my desired books, the bestseller books, on top of the books that were coming every month from the Book of the Month Club. So sadly, I decided to cancel that subscription, but hopefully in the future, I'll either subscribe back or start a different subscription, because since I started BookTube, I've learned about a book subscription called the Owl Crate. And I know nothing about it, but it seems interesting only because of the fact that my favorite animal is an owl. I love them. I even have like this stuffed little owl that I call Marvin. He's just a little teddy bear. But I'm starting this readathon right now. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon on February 24th, 2018. And I will continue to give you guys updates on the story I'm reading or whether or not I completed the book. So a little update, guys. It is 1:35. I've been reading for an hour and 35 minutes in this 24-hour challenge. And I just finished The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I don't want to go into a book review about Tom Sawyer because my favorite books are classics. And so I want to give this book an opportunity to have its own book review and its own video. So I am going to start on the next book, which is I am going to do James Patterson's Jack and Jill. Just because, honestly, the girl with the dragon tattoo is gigantic. So, yes, I'm going to read this book, and I'm probably going to do some updates while I'm reading it. But since Tom Sawyer only had about 1/4 of the book, I just read it. And like I said, I'll give it a review of its own in another video. Update, guys. This is actually kind of embarrassing, but as I was reading Jack and Jill, I realized I have already read this story back when I was a teenager in high school. And somehow I don't know how it landed on my not yet reads in my library section in my home. So to wrap up Jack and Jill is about two different murders, and Alex Cross is searching for the killers in the murder cases. Jack and Jill's whole reason for why they kill is for political reasons. They kill the senator, but ultimately their goal is to kill the president, which they actually shoot the president, and sadly he does die. If I can recall, he does die. And Jack and Jill are imprisoned after their murders, and they too actually die in prison. And the other murderer is this young 13-year-old boy who is targeting children at Alex's son's school. And long story short, he's captured as well. Like I said, I don't know how this got into my little section on my bookshelf where I didn't read this, but I actually did. So I think now what I'm going to do is I am going to start with the girl with the dragon tattoo as of right now and give you updates on that. Okay, guys, I want to give a little update. While reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I'm reminded why I put this book down. Unless you are into conspiracy theories or you are just extremely intelligent and can wrap your mind around the craziest of theories, this book is for you. But for me, not really. I just read the first chapter and I literally felt like my mind was just a hamster on a wheel. There was so much being talked about, a crazy conspiracy theory. Half the time I felt like I was zoning out because it was just boring. Technically, the girl in the spider web was exactly the same until eventually it finally got into the story. And I'm hoping that this book is the same exact way, or this might just be torment in trying to finish. So I'm going to continue to read and pray that this book gets better. Okay, guys, compared to my last segment, we finally got to the point in the book where things are finally starting to flow and create a story pretty much at the 100-page mark. And so far we have a very smart woman named Elizabeth Sanders, and she is really good with computers. And she is tasked out by her boss to look up information on Michael Blumfist. I think that's how you say his name. And Michael Blumfist is a journalist who has recently gone through some bad publicity because he um, lost a case against some really big guy, and so he decides to leave his magazine for a little bit, but he gets a very interesting phone call to meet up a man. He goes to meet the man, and he states to Mr. Bluntfist that he wants him to pretty much write his memoirs, but also to unravel an investigation regarding his granddaughter's death. So that's where the story is. And as I continue to read, I think I'm going to make an update at every 100th page read. So I'll make an update again at page 200. Hey guys, so I wanted to take back what I said earlier and just state that this book is so good when you pass the boring beginning. So a little update, guys. It is 20 minutes till 10, and I have reached page 200. And like I said in my prior update, it is a really good book. The whole premise behind it, once it started rolling, was pretty interesting in the fact that the journalist had to solve a 35-year-old murder. And I believe in one of my updates, I made a mistake and said that the old gentleman who contacted Blumfist was trying to find the murder of his granddaughter, when in fact it is the granddaughter of his brother. So I think that makes her his second niece. I don't really know how that goes. But my only comment so far, other than the fact that the story is interesting, is that I feel like the author, I think his name is Steg Larson, I feel like he's in college trying to make the word count. It's just a lot of details that should not be there. It's just really, really long for no reason. Okay, guys, just a little update. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, which means I'm almost reaching my 13-hour mark. And I have to say that this book gets really dark quickly, or maybe halfway through the book. But I'm at the part where the girl, Lisbeth, is having issues with her guardian, where he has control of her money, and he ends up making her do sexual favors in order for her to gain money from him, which is actually her money. And he's a sadist, and he has raped her twice. But I got kind of really excited because I got to the point where she's about to do some damage to him, because she brought a taser because he told her that she had to return to his home and continue to allow him to basically rape her in order for her to get her money and future events. So she decided to take it upon herself to inflict torture and pain on the very man who is hurting her. So I'm excited to see how she gets her revenge. Hey guys, I have to be completely honest, but I crashed and burned around hour 17. And I slept for about an hour and a half and jolted up. And literally, like, my book was on the floor. I don't know what happened. I am going to continue to read and just keep you guys updated. I hope this doesn't mean, that I failed the 24 hours. I really tried so hard. But I crashed around 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, guys, I have finally reached my 24 hours. I am extremely tired. I didn't get to finish the girl with the dragon tattoo. I'm almost done, but I gotta admit, I don't really like the story. It's dark. I mean, it revolves around a lot of incest. And I just feel like Harry's disappearance was, in a sense, ridiculous. I feel like she should have been caught a very long time ago. But that's my opinion of the book. I am going to go to sleep. I've literally been up for 24 hours. I am going to sleep. And who knows, I might tackle this again. As of right now, not anytime soon.